In a critical three-game series with the Indians, Big Game James was just that in Game 1 in a 7-1 win. Rookie Yordano Ventura didn't disappoint in Game 2 in his Major League debut. The Royals need to win this series, which means they need Bruce Chen's best. Game 3 is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium. We only have 4 more regular season home games to go, including tonight. Big energetic crowd is gathering for the Royals and the Cleveland Indians. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. It's a big game for the Royals. It's been a big season for the Royals and for their fans, but really, if you think about it, the most motivated guy on the field tonight might be the starting pitcher, Bruce Chen. Bruce made his Major League debut 15 years ago. He's played with 10 different Major League teams. He has never pitched in the postseason, and the Royals are getting some of the best of him this year as a starter. No starter for the Royals in the previous 3 years had more wins than Bruce Chen, and with a record of 4-3 as a starter, this is his best ERA as a starting pitcher as a member of the Royals, and it all started with a start against Cleveland back on July 12th when he moved back into the rotation. And as we welcome in Rex Hudler, who had a long Major League career, you never know when you're going to get another shot at the postseason, if you'll ever get a shot at the postseason. So this is a big year for Bruce.
That's right. Bruce is not the only guy with 10 years in the majors that never made it to the postseason. Some of us, though, wish we could have. Bruce has a chance right now. Tonight is the night. But don't put any undue pressure on yourself, but just work on keeping the ball down. Use that defense. We all know how Bruce can be Bruce, the way he changes speeds, the way he's able to speed bats up and slow them down with his off-speed and fastball, which really is not overpowering. He's got to be Bruce.
Come on, Chen! That sums it up. How about come on, Moose? He's done some of his best work this year against the Cleveland Indians. They'll try and ride his bat as the Royals face a rookie pitcher tonight, Danny Salazar.
Made his debut with this team in 2009, and since then, most wins by a Royal, second most starts, second most innings pitched, and strikeouts. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg here. Last night, we saw the youngster Yordano Ventura, who was only 7 years old when Bruce Chen made his major league debut. Chen has pitched for 10 different teams, but he has had the most success in his career and found a home for the longest with the Kansas City Royals, and in that stretch, he has been awfully good. This could, in theory, be his last ever start as a Royal at Kauffman Stadium. He's a free agent at the end of the year, loves it here, and you look at how he stacks up. Royals lefties at Kauffman Stadium, Paul Splittorff, then Larry Gurr, Charlie Leibrandt, Bud Black, and Bruce Chen looking for his 25th win as a Royal here at Kauffman Stadium. What a run it has been for him, and he hopes to keep it going here tonight against the Cleveland Indians. But the key for him, silencing those dangerous Indians bats. First pitch is coming up next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Play Cadillac Rich's Scratchers game, and you could win a new Cadillac. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. Well, just when we thought the fall was beginning, we've had a warm snap of weather, and right around 90 degrees today. That's cooled off in a gorgeous day and a gorgeous night at Kauffman Stadium. Tonight's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. So that's what's going on in the division. Cleveland is 6 games back. The Royals are 9 back. As far as the wild card goes, the Royals need some help if they're going to get a wild card spot. The Indians do not, because Tampa Bay and Texas are playing one another tonight. If the Indians would win tonight, they would have a wild card spot. So they essentially control their own destiny for the rest of the season. And in their last 10 games, they'll be playing teams below 500 after this game tonight.
There is a chance, though, Ryan, and that's exactly what the Royals have to believe. Every time, one pitch, one play at a time. But this batting order right here, been pretty good against lefties. They're hitting .271 as a team, and their record is 29-19 against left-handed pitchers. So they've had some pretty good success against lefties this year, but leave it to Bruce to be able to shut them down by changing his speeds. And you see the overall work that Bruce has done. 29 walks is really good. He's been throwing strikes. However, the key for Bruce is to keep the ball down
and in the ballpark.
And a bunt, and Bruce runs it down. How about that start to the game? As Bruce Chen outruns a bunt, dropped down by Michael Bourne.
Boy, that's fantastic. Good play right there by Bruce to help himself. Now he can take his time and catch his breath. In the meantime, if he does give up any mistakes, Dyson, Kane, and Gordon can go get him. Alex, he is one of the best left fielders the game's seen in the last 3 years. Looking for another Gold Glove. Watch this. I thought the ball was going to get by him. Bruce showing some athleticism.
And that's a tougher play for a left-hand pitcher than it is a right-hand pitcher, because just because of physics, a left-hand pitcher, after he delivers, he's naturally falling toward third, where a right-hand pitcher is falling toward first base.
Yep, you're exactly right. Made that play a lot harder. However, with Bruce, not really a power guy, doesn't have quite the leg swing that a power pitcher would have to fall off to the third base side. Watch his balance and his mechanics. He finishes up pretty much straight up on the mound. He does a good job.
2-1 on Swisher.
Yeah, you can see him. He's not really falling that far. However, he has an idea that Bourne can do this, but you got to be quick. Look at him cut the angle. It's all about the angle you take.
Popped up. Escobar and Bonifacio, and Escobar makes a play in shallow center field. 2 up, 2 down.
Okay, the conditions here at the K, it's a beautiful evening. The ball could carry a little bit further tonight because there's not a lot of wind at this particular time, and also it's a little more humidity in the air. Ball will lift and carry. Bruce has given up a home run in each of his last 4 games, and he's got to be able to keep it in the yard. 6 he's given up to left-handed bats, 5 to right-handed bats. But Ryan, the impressive thing about Bruce Chen's splits is the .219 average against right-handed batters. That's really good. And he gets that with a lot of off-speed pitches. You see a lot of right-handers out front popping the ball up. He's really a master at off balance.
And he's 2-1 with Kipnis. So those are known as reverse splits. Pitchers are typically better against their same side. So Bruce should be better against lefties and righties, but when they aren't, you call it a reverse split. Well, good splits, no matter how you look at it in the top of the first inning. 9 pitches. He made a good play and then a couple of pop-ups, and that's all for the Indians. And last night was one of those. After having an early 3-0 lead, the Indians came back and won 5-3. So that's been the demeanor of Ned Yost through it all. The ups and the downs, just a very steady, calm presence in the Royals dugout. And here's what he's running out against right-hander Danny Salazar tonight.
He has been a steady presence in there, and he was positive, especially in that one losing month that the Royals had in May. Got to have that. Now look at this. This order right here, looking for a bus driver. That's right. A bus driver is somebody that drives in the meaningful runs and gets all the hits. That's what they're looking for. Just one guy, maybe two, step up. However, Danny Salazar might make it tough. This young man here possesses a mid to upper 90s fastball consistently. He's got a nice little slider and a changeup. The opponents are only hitting 215 on him, and look at the innings and strikeouts. More strikeouts than innings pitched tells you he's a power pitcher.
And he's had quite a spike in strikeouts lately. He has 17 in his last 7 2/3 innings. So the first time the Royals will see him with Gordon, Bonifacio, and Hosmer coming up. And there's 95 at the knees for strike one. Indians have pitched Alex well so far in the series. He's 1 for 9 with a walk and a run scored. And now the count is 0-2. Salazar is out of the Dominican Republic, and the Indians signed him as a 16-year-old 7 years ago. 3 years ago, he had Tommy John surgery. Aviles is out. Brantley is in, and Mike Aviles overran it.
Tell you what, Alex will say thank you, because that could turn into a knock. That's a ball that should have been caught. And it's not easy, though. But this is the big leagues. And he missed it. So that's what you do. You try to take advantage of that. And they're not machines. Okay, they're humans.
Little check swing, and Cabrera plays the second hop and throws out Alex, one away.
Defending behind this young Salazar is a pretty good Indians defense. They've got some good outfielders out there, especially some speed in left and center. Rayburn Moore's an arm guy. However, their shortstop, he's a pretty good handsy guy, good strong throwing arm, pretty good range. But if you hit it at him, you're out most of the time. And that's the way it is in the big leagues.
Bonifacio trying to push it to the left side and fouls it away. Here's a little trivia question for you, courtesy of our producer Joe Lavero. Name the only Cleveland shortstop that has played every game of a single season at shortstop, meaning he played all, well, this year it would have been 154 years when the 154 games, I should say, when the record was set back in 1964. And that would be Dick Hauser, former Royals manager, who's
really
number 10 is retired.
I was going to say Omar Vizquel did that. Come on.
And now Cabrera throws out Bonifacio. So Salazar with a good arm and good control. 8 pitches, all strikes. He's gotten 2 ground balls to short.
That's right. Occasional sliders and changeups. Now, his slider, when it's on, it's a good one. But then they've told me that sometimes it's not on, he don't throw it. He stays with his changeup. And his changeup, when it's elevated, like any other pitch in the big leagues, can get whacked. So they've got to be able to look up in the zone of this guy.
Strike to Hosmer, who drove in a run in the first inning last night against Corey Kluber with a double off the wall in left center field. And Gomes going to let it roll. That was a smart thing to do, hoping that it might take a left turn and roll into fair territory, but it's a foul ball, and that's 10 straight strikes thrown by Salazar.
Okay, there's Hosmer. Now, this ball has topspin on it. See, Gomes, the catcher, he knows. He says, I'm going to wait. Maybe it's going to bounce forward. Hosmer said, you know, maybe I better back out of the way. But that potentially was an easy out.
Now, if he stays in the box and doesn't move, it's a dead ball. Right side pass, Swisher. And Hosmer is on with 2 down. That's his 3rd hit of the series and his 176th hit of the year.
It's a 2-out knock. Look at the concentration. Loves the high ball, too. He's able to stay on top of it. Swisher, he's a good fielding first baseman, but he couldn't get that one.
So Billy with 1 on, 2 out. 3 hits, 2 walks in the first 2 games. Billy has 75 walks this year. That's 6 more than his previous career high. And that's high and inside for ball 1. We'll keep an eye on Hosmer here. Hosmer was really bouncing around over at first base as Salazar delivered that pitch, trying to time his walking lead.
Some guys are more comfortable walking than just staying still, but eventually he'll make you stop. Good pitchers that can hold runners will use that as a weapon, a hold. They'll hold it until you do stop, and then you can't get as good a jump when you're waiting.
Outside 2-0. So the first time Salazar has been behind a hitter in the inning. Slowly but surely, Billy Butler getting his batting average up to a Billy Butler level. That's in the first inning tonight with a .290 average. And now he's ahead in the count 3-0.
Okay, he's looking down at Eddie Rodriguez for a sign that says, I can swing away. They call that green light. Most guys that aren't power hitters don't get the green light. But a guy like Billy, he could get it if he wants to.
He got it and almost drilled the ball boy. 3-1.
He almost got him. Oh man, you got to be alive down there. Whoops.
Nice move.
How about that? He
Not bad.
He got a little bit of air time. Hang time.
So 3-1. Hosmer with a little bigger lead, but he's not running, and now Billy is on with his 76th walk of the year. So at 2 outs, Royals put 2 on with a single and a walk. And now Sal, 4 more hits in this series, 2 more RBIs, and in our Toyota League leaders, top batting averages this month, and Salvador Perez in the American League is 4th. Jose Altuve, it's still a little strange seeing Houston, and that's the American League, but he's hitting quite a clip for the Astros, who have had mostly a lost season. And Sal has been one of the best in the league with runners in scoring position.
You know, when you face a guy that throws this hard, it eliminates the thinking. Royals have had much more success against hard throwers than they have soft tossers. Soft tossers, they play mind games with the hitters. Guys like Bruce. And you got to think, and you're like, I got to look at a certain spot. I got to lay off of this one. Hard throwers, you're looking hard.
Like that. And the Royals are going to get a run. They might get 2 runs.
Come on, Billy.
Around third. Relay. Short hop. And Sal goes to third to give the Royals a 2-0 lead.
All aboard. Jump on Salvi's back. Love the dead red fastball belt high. Short to the ball. Pulls it. It's out ahead of it even. Hard to pull a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, but Salvi, he's on the ball, especially this month. We just showed you. He's scalding hot. Now, the short hop was a blessing, because if it was a good throw, they'd have gotten Billy. But they'll take the 2-0 lead early.
So at 2 outs and nobody on, a single, a walk, and a 2-run double, and Sal going to third on the throw home. So he is 5 out of 8 in the series with 4 RBIs. Mickey Callaway, Indians pitching coach, went out to have a chat with Salazar. The Indians say that Salazar is on a limited pitch count tonight, around 85 pitches. And this is number 19 as Moustakas swings and misses.
Well, if he keeps throwing that fastball over the middle of the plate, his pitch count may be a lot lower than they expected tonight. We might have to get him out. But he could settle in. He's got 2 outs.
And now a ball gets past Gomes. And here comes Sal. He is safe. It's a 3-run first inning.
Oh, yeah. Another playoff atmosphere here at the K. The crowd's pumped. 2 runs early, and now they're going to give him a 3rd one. Salvi wasn't quite ready for that. Got a late break. And another bad throw. If Gomes can make an accurate throw, would have been close to the plate. Look at Salvi coming for it.
Off the fist and to Swisher to end the inning. A 2-out rally. A single, a double, a walk, a wild pitch, and the Royals have 3 at the end of 1. Archer pitching to Leonis Martin, who hits a 2-run triple, and Texas hits that ball right over Desmond Jennings.
Oops.
Texas has a 2-0 lead. That game is in the bottom of the 4th inning. They will play the 4th and final game tomorrow while the Royals have a day off. Texas put an end to a 7-game losing streak last night, and now they're ahead tonight. Now Bruce Chen with a 3-0 lead. And he jumps ahead of Carlos Santana with strike 1. The Indians went down 1-2-3 in the first inning against Bruce, who needed just 9 pitches, while his counterpart, Danny Salazar, needed over 20 pitches to get out of his half of the first inning.
2 quick strikes on Santana, who's pretty patient, very selective. Has a nice .315 average against southpaws. 6 of his 18 home runs have come against lefties.
Changeup struck him out. So Bruce has opened his night by retiring the first 4.
Okay, Bruce's changeup and off-speed pitches, they speed the opponent's bats up. Okay, they're ahead of it. Bruce's 86, 87 mile an hour fastball slows their bats down and he blows it by them. Does that make sense? Because it's really frustrating. And especially talking with Torrey Hunter, a few guys, you know, from the opponents about Bruce, they say, you know, I don't have a lot of hair. The hair I have left, I want to pull it out after facing Bruce. It's killing me.
Rayburn grounds to Escobar, 2 down. So this series comes to an end tonight, day after tomorrow, and then on Friday, the Texas Rangers are in for 3, and we have a special Buck Night. So bring your dollar bills, hot dogs, peanuts, small Pepsi products, just $1 each. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Royals and the Rangers here at Kauffman Stadium, and that's the beginning of the final 3 home games of the regular season. Outside to Asdrubal Cabrera.
Brian, the crowd here last night was worked up. It was really a special game until the end. And tonight it looks like a very similar crowd, and you can tell the difference between early season games here at the K and meaningful games in September.
Right to Alex in left field, a few steps toward the gap, and another 9-pitch inning. 6 up, 6 down, and a 3-0 lead for Chen. There we go. Irving Falou and Chris Dwyer, who is 2 more to the right of Falou. There you go.
They don't think they mind if I circle them?
No.
Now, I'm not Bert Blyleven, and so don't think that. But look, we want to identify these 2 young AAA champions.
Irving Falou and Chris Dwyer both played a huge role. Dwyer flirting with a no-hitter and a perfect game for a while, and Falou had 3 hits and an RBI as Omaha won the AAA championship game. Here's Irving last night.
Never forget his major league debut and his first hit. Look at that inside out stroke there. Just got it over his head. A little doinker that worked large.
Manny Pena coming around to score a 2-1 final. Congratulations to those 2 guys and the rest of the Omaha Storm Chasers. And we expect to see their manager, Mike Jerschele, who's normally with the Royals in September. He will be with the Royals over the weekend when the Rangers are in town.
It's nice that those 2 young players would get rewarded and get some major league service time by coming up here. That's important. It all adds up.
0-2 on Dyson. Royals scored 3 in the first inning, and that was after Salazar got Gordon and Bonifacio to ground out to short. With 2 outs and nobody on, a single, a walk. Perez hit a 2-run double, and then he scored on a wild pitch. Still 0-2 on Dyson, who had 2 hits and a stolen base last night, adding to his new career high. He has stolen 32 after getting 30 last year. Good changeup. Salazar has his first strikeout, and there are 2 down in the second inning. Speaking of this weekend and looking at the Royals' future, it's going to be Futures Night on Friday. Select minor league award winners, including Omaha Player of the Year Christian Colon and Pitcher of the Year Chris Dwyer, as well as first-round pick Hunter Dozier will be here at Kauffman Stadium. So come early for that. It'll be in the left field concourse inside Gate A. Gate A inside the left field concourse. 5:30 to 6:15 on Friday night. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Ball 1 on Escobar, who lost a 10-game hitting streak last night. And now 2 balls, no strikes. Reno.
Now, you will not give a green light to Escobar because Escobar is not a power hitter. Typically, you only give green lights on 3-0 to power hitters because you want the other guys to get on base. Sometimes you might want to make him throw another one, or this is a good fastball count here. You might want to jump on one. Especially if you have a better chance you know it's coming, better chance you have to square it up.
Left field. And Brantley is there, and that's the inning. So this time it's 3 up, 3 down for Salazar. He avoids trouble with 2 outs. And at the end of 2, the Royals lead 3-0. Win, and they came out swinging in the bottom of the first inning against a pitcher whom they'd never faced before, and they come up with 3. Salvador Perez coming up with a 2-run double with 2 outs, and then he comes home on a wild pitch. And in our Sprint Unlimited Answers poll for tonight, how many wins do the Royals need to make the playoffs? Or at least in your opinion, how many wins? The Royals have 79 at the moment with 11 left, including tonight. 85, 86, 87, 88, or 89 or more. 1-1 on Yan Gomes.
Well, unfortunately, they can't lose again. They're going to have to really play winning baseball. I'm saying E. I don't know. I mean, this is going to be tough. What do you think, Ryan?
I don't know.
I know. I hear you. Just win.
I know this, though.
Let's just talk about today, but this is our question.
This is a team that has gone on a 17-3 run right after the All-Star break. And they have the Rangers in town over the weekend, and the Rangers are still playing for something, much like the Indians. But then the Royals finish the season, and even though it's on the road against teams who have had hugely disappointing seasons, 3 games against Seattle and 4 games against Chicago. Jammed him, and Bonifacio won't have a play. It drops into right center field, and Gomes is the Indians' first runner.
Remember how last year the White Sox were a good team in Robin Ventura's first year, and they came in here at the end of the season and the Royals just rocked their world? Something tells me that those last 3 games of the year, the White Sox are going to have their fangs out if the Royals are still in it at that particular time. So it's not going to be easy, no matter, just because the teams are below 500. There's teams out there that take a lot of joy in spoiling.
What's easy is the potential of falling into the trap of thinking it's going to be easy.
Right.
And that kind of leads us into what the Indians have in front of them. After this game tonight, their final 10 games will be at home against Houston, at home against the White Sox, and Terry Francona's team is 15-2 against Chicago this year, and then they finish at Minnesota. So if this were fantasy baseball and it was played on paper and not on the field, the Indians should be making playoff plans.
Couldn't have written it up any better, could he? There's Tito. You know what? Terry Francona, though, he understands the opponents. He understands that a spoiler. He was a big league ball player in his day for the Expos, and the Expos when he played weren't that good, but he understands that there are some guys that are looking for a job that they're playing against, and if they beat Terry Francona's team, those guys have a chance to play for him next year, because Francona, he'll take a guy that beats him. That's how you win a job. If you're playing meaningless games and you're out of it. And you're playing a team that's in it, and you break their back and you hurt them, they might hire you next year.
Well, these are the numbers that Ned Yost wants his players to completely ignore. The percentages, according to Baseball Prospectus, the percentages of these teams getting a wild card spot. That's it in the right center field. So Brantley will get Gomes from first to third, and now Dyson kicks it literally. And now Gomes is around third, and he will score. And Dyson then makes a wild throw to the infield, and it's a 3-1 game.
That pass percentages that we just showed you, the reason the Kansas City Royals were above the other 2 teams was strength of schedule. Okay, so this one here, nice hit. Brantley, he's a solid player, but he's a lefty's throwing, a righty's throwing. And Dyson, he came to the ball and looked up before the ball got to him, and then he kicked it, and there was no chance that they were going to get the guy at the plate.
So it's a single, no RBI. Gomes scores. Brantley goes to second on the air. And now the former Royal Mike Aviles. And a push bunt, and a pretty good one. But Bruce Chen again with a fine play coming off the mound. And not only does he make the out, but then in like a soldier's pose is looking for the next combatant as he turns around and sees what Brantley is doing after he goes to third.
Heads up. Okay, this is basically Aviles is giving himself up. He wanted the base hit, but he's giving himself up to get that runner to third base. It's early in the ball game. You play, get him on, get him over. Increase your percentages of scoring the run.
one on Michael Bourne, who tried to bunt on Bruce Chen. That was Bruce's first good play. Running off the mound between the pitcher's mound and first base. That's good for Bruce, a strike zone like that.
Sure is. I'll tell you, home plate umpires that have a liberal strike zone are really important for a guy like Bruce. It's Brian Honora. He's a second base umpire.
And was the home plate umpire in game 1, and there were a few hitters, in particular Michael Bourne, who were at odds with Honora's strike zone. Way outside, and Perez got a glove on it. That saved a run, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a little bit wide there, no question. Salvy's fortunate he could get his glove on it.
Bruce could use a strikeout or an infield pop-up right here. Three and 2. Still could use a strikeout or an infield pop-up.
Sure could, and I'll tell you, that did just barely missed.
Well, he gets it to the outfield, and Alex will make the play, but all of his momentum going towards center field. He heaves it all the way to the plate. Not a bad throw, but Brantley scores easily, and now it's 3-2.
Yep. Perfect place to hit that ball. If he hits that right straight to Alex, Alex has a chance to get in back of it and get some momentum and throw him out. But however, that ball's in the gap like that, there's no chance for an outfielder to get any footing under it. But Alex still heaved it and almost made a play out of it.
And now Swisher up the left field line. That's a base hit. And will he try and stretch it for 2? I think at this point of the season, and Swisher doesn't run all that well, I think especially teams in the Central Division know that you're not supposed to be running on Alex Gordon on a play up the line.
You're right. No way he's going to try that.
So Bruce retired the first 6, and now 2 runs, 2 hits in this inning. The error was big, and a strike to Jason Kipnis, who is hitless in the series.
Playing the outfield when a ball comes to you on the ground and you have a chance to glove it, you really got to tell yourself, slow it down, catch the ball first, and then get it to the cutoff man. Those 2 things.
Alex makes a play in left field, so Kipnis is 0 for 10 in the series, but the Indians get 2, and now it's a 1-run game. Jonathan Steckley was driving down I-29 when he saw a man walking on the highway get hit by 2 cars. A volunteer firefighter, an EMT, Jonathan quickly got out of his car, carried him away from oncoming traffic, and revived the man. And due to Jonathan's bravery and skills, he saved the man's life.
Wow.
And Buck O'Neill, smiling above us tonight, says, "You can have my seat tonight, Jonathan."
Way to go, young man. And the way he's going, he might save a few more before he's done.
So now a 1-run game. The Royals got 3 with 2 outs in the first. Alex grounded to short first time against Danny Salazar. Salazar looked like he was just going to breeze through the Royals in the first. His first 10 pitches were strikes. And with 2 outs, Hosmer singled on a 1-2 pitch. And then he fell behind Billy, 3-0, who eventually walked. Sal Perez then hit a 2-run double, and then Salvador scored on a wild pitch. We were talking last night about how pitchers' experience changes in the major leagues. The hitters are better here. That's obvious. The strike zone is tighter. And Yordano Ventura, who made his big league debut last night, may have experienced a little bit of that tighter strike zone. But a couple of other things you hear too is that the way Ventura was pitching last night, if he pitches like that in the minor leagues, most of the time that other team is emotionally defeated, and the rest of the game after 4 or 5 innings is going to be pretty easy for him. Not at this level. And another thing you hear from young pitchers too is that the 3rd out of an inning is much more difficult to get in the big leagues than it is in the minor leagues, as Alex takes a slider for a strike. And that's Salazar's second. And I've seen that happen so many times, Hud. A young pitcher get 2 quick outs, and in his mind, the inning's over. Now I'll get the 3rd out, no problem. And many times that's when they can get into trouble.
You're exactly right. But I tell you, first things first, just get that first start out of the way. You saw he threw 86 pitches, and he topped out at 102. Pretty impressive velocity for a guy that at 5'11", 175, 80 pounds. It's pretty good. You're natural when you can throw a ball that hard. That's a lot of natural ability.
Aviles bare hands and throws out Bonifacio, who is 0 for 2. Here's our Time Warner pitch speed comparison for tonight. Salazar up to 100. Bruce Chen 87. So the flamethrower and the Craftsman hooking up tonight. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. And now a strike to Hosmer, who got that 3-run rally started with 2 outs in the first inning after he singled. Right field, well hit. Rayburn is back, and it's off the screen. Hosmer to second, and he will stop there.
Hey, here comes.
Didn't sound great, did it? But
no, it didn't. You could tell he didn't barrel it. Just off the end of the bat a little bit.
Still strong enough to get it off the right field fence.
No question. 30-second double. Beautiful stroke. Good start. Actually, there's 2 outs, but still, they'll take it. Now, Hosmer wasn't sure exactly. He thought he might have got it. Kind of took a little bit of time coming out of the box, but look, was able to get into second base.
And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, sometimes it doesn't sound good on our microphone, but that doesn't mean that the hitter didn't make solid contact. And the way Hosmer reacted after making contact, he thought he got it. So Billy with 2 outs, and he fouls it away.
Okay, let's see. We can see exactly where. Yeah, it wasn't off the end. It was more of a jam shot. It was in down from the barrel. he got in on it. So Kipnis is probably saying, hey, Haas, man, warning track power, dude. Come on. Is that all you got?
That pitch was nasty. Just disappeared on Billy. No balls and 2 strikes. In the clutchest, as they say, of all situations, 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That brings out the best in Billy Butler. He's hitting .385.
Okay, 2-strike approach facing a guy that throws this hard. You've really got to be able to look fastball, but adjust to the changeup or a slider.
And to right field. And Rayburn, boy, he misjudged it badly. So either he didn't read it right or the wind is doing something with the ball out in right field. And the Indians are lucky to get out of that inning without allowing another run. Three-game series with the Rangers begins on Friday night, and in Game 2, Fan Appreciation Night. You've been coming out and supporting the Royals in person and on television. We appreciate that. Well, Saturday night, we salute you. 6:10 game with the Rangers on Saturday. If you come out, you'll enjoy a night of games, giveaways, and a live pregame performance by the Zeros at the Outfield Experience stage. And the first 10,000 fans receive a Royals blanket, courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. So again, 6:10 Saturday, Fan Appreciation Night. The gates open at 4:30. 1-1 on Carlos Santana.
Well,
1-2 on Carlos Santana.
Fox Sports Kansas City's thrilled to be able to bring Sunday's game against the Rangers. They added that one, plus the last two games of the season against the White Sox in that series. Saturday's game is not on Fox Sports Kansas City, but it's on MLB Network. The rest of the games will all be televised. So happy to continue to let you folks see a really nice Kansas City Royals product.
Hosmer goes over the line and makes the play in foul territory to get Santana, who is 0 for 2. This run of good starts for Bruce Chen. He's had a couple of bumps along the way. It began with the Indians right before the All-Star break. And in somewhat of a surprise, the Royals put him back in the rotation after he's pitching so well in the bullpen. And then we learned that that was a plan from the very beginning. And expecting that perhaps Luis Mendoza and all that pitching that he did during the winter That might catch up to him, and they wanted Bruce Chen ready if that happened, and the Royals felt like the change needed to be made right before the All-Star break, so they inserted Bruce into the rotation. At Cleveland, he gave up 1 hit in 6 innings, 1 walk, so 2 base runners in 6 innings, and he ended up with a no decision. He did not get any run support in that game. In fact, Bruce this year, as a starter and as a reliever, has held the Indians scoreless in 15, or had held them scoreless in 15 innings before they scored 2 in the 3rd.
And you know, Ryan, that's the 3rd pitch in a row at 89 miles an hour. That's pretty good velocity for Bruce. He'll take that. That's plenty of velocity to set up the next pitch. But 3 in a row he's been given to Rayburn. Now he's got to be able to mix something else. Ooh, my. There was that something else. They call that a backdoor curve.
Still 2-2.
Rayburn's got a pretty good record, or excuse me, average against left-handers this year. .326 with 7 home runs of his 16. And if you're a right-handed batter that plays part-time and you got good numbers against a lefty, you'll stay in the league a while. That's one of the reasons they gave him a 2-year deal.
Into the seats. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals scored 3 in the 1st. The Indians got 2 in the 3rd. And fouled into the seats off to the right field side.
Coming into tonight, Rayburn had 214 at bats. He's got 16 home runs. That's production. Be careful.
And dropped down his arm angle and gets a routine fly ball to center field. Bruce very much a fly ball pitcher tonight. That is his 7th out of 11 in the air. 2 down in the 4th. I was home when Bruce made that start against the Indians on July the 12th, but I watched some of it on TV, and there were a lot of Indians swinging early in the count, swinging with hitters counts, popping up, grounded out, throwing their bats in the air in frustration. I mean, he had them emotionally beat as much as he did physically beat.
Sure did. Now, were you watching me and Fizz on our feed, or were you watching the opponent's feed?
Watching you guys.
Okay, way to go. Just had to make sure.
A lot of this kind of stuff going on.
Been there, and that's what Bruce does to you.
Here's an old term for you, Hud. Hitters will say against a guy like Bruce Chen, you can have a comfortable 0 for 4.
Got that right. You're
right.
right.
You feel comfortable in the box.
Oh.
You feel like you have good swings. You feel like you're seeing the ball, and you just can't make solid contact. Here's another example. As Hosmer goes out and makes a play. So 8 out of 12 outs in the air, and Bruce gets the Indians 1-2-3 in the 4th.
Oh, be aggressive.
Playoff action. It was 2-0 Texas until this. Sean Rodriguez, 5th homer of the year, ties the game at 2. That's where they stand in the top of the 7th now. And Baltimore and Boston and the Orioles taking the lead in this one. They go up 3-2. So those Orioles once again playing tough baseball. We gave you those playoff odds earlier, and want to correct some numbers there. As much as we liked seeing them higher where they were, they've kind of sat between 2 to 4% lately from Baseball Prospectus on the Royals. And as of right now, wild card percentages, they have the Royals at 2.9%. Keep on winning, maybe those numbers will creep up. And hey, whatever the percentages are, Royals just need to keep on getting it done and see where they stand at the end, guys.
Yeah, well, all these new statistics and percentages and all that stuff, you know, you can really throw a lot of that stuff out. However, it makes it interesting for some viewers, but really, it's all about the performance between the white lines and what these guys can do. And it looks like Salazar's been doing a pretty good job after that rough first inning where he gave up 3 runs. He's settling in, he's executing his pitches.
Strike to Moustakas, who hit a soft liner to first in the first inning. Hit 2 doubles last night. He's driven in 2 in the series. And now out in front, no balls, 2 strikes.
97-mile-an-hour fastball and a changeup in the mid 80s. Plenty enough to get through with just those 2 pitches if you can command them.
Noticed a few of the guys have been getting the razor out. Greg Holland doesn't have the thick beard anymore. Mike Moustakas, cleanly shaven.
Yep, they tightened up, didn't they?
Still 0-2. It's kind of backwards, isn't it? Don't you grow the beard in the fall and the winter to stay warm, in theory, right?
That just depends, really, Ryan. Sometimes they do it to change up their luck right now. I think it's all about what's going on the field with them and the mojo. Baseball players are very superstitious, and one of the reasons is the game's played every single day. They're into routines. You get into the same routine, whether you eat, the socks you put on, what kind of undershirt you wear under your uniform.
What time you do all of that.
I'm telling you, going to the restaurant and eating the same thing you had yesterday because you went 3 for 4. I'm going to have the same meal, and I want the same waitress too.
Kane flied out to right field in the second inning.
Playing in Japan was interesting every day, obviously, in a new culture, but some of the players,
into a strong crosswind from right to left. Kane flies to deep center field, and Salazar has now retired 10 of the last 11 Royals after giving up 3 in the first. Foods and their Bacon a Difference charity concert. All tickets are $10, with all proceeds benefiting harvesters. Go to baconadifference.com. Royals with 3 in the first inning, scoring all those runs with 2 outs, and then Cleveland scored 2 in the third. Bruce Chen has retired 6 of the last 7.
You know, one of the things I like about Bruce Chen, I think you know that, Ryan, came from last year, is his body language. And it has a lot to do with the way he chews his gum. He chews his gum with confidence, and that's what hitters see. Look at him. And so last year when I noticed that, I had to ask him, Bruce, well, you really chomped that gum out there. I mean, was there a reason that you chew gum? He goes, yeah, I was tipping my pitches a year or so ago until somebody finally told me about it. I was sticking my tongue out on a curveball. And so I went to chewing gum. Great idea.
Very shallow center field. Dyson coming in and makes a nice play to take a hit away from Gomes. Bruce Chen says thank you very much. Well, now if he sticks his tongue out with a curveball, he's going to chew his tongue off.
That's right. Dyson took an initial step back, but came in and gloved it.
And now Michael Brantley, he and Gomes scored the 2 runs in the third. And one hop to Escobar, who backs up to the grass, shows off his arm and gets Brantley. 4 pitches, 2 outs for Chen in the 5th inning. Well, the regular season is almost over, but parents, you still have time to sign your kids up for Sluggers Blue Crew, brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. Kids receive a gray batting practice jersey, a Royals hat, blue wristbands, priority access for the Sunday fun run, and much more. And now membership has been reduced to $15 for an end-of-the-year sale. So a $10 discount. And parents, you can sign your kids up right now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. Popped up, Mike Aviles. And Lorenzo Cain makes a play in right field. So Bruce has a 6-pitch 5th inning. He's retired 9 of the last 10, and the Royals still lead by 1. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. By Ford, see the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And by ATT Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Dyson shortening to bunt. Didn't get the pitch he wanted and takes ball one from Salazar. Salazar gave up 3 2-out runs in the first, and now he's retired 10 of the last 11. 1-1 with Dyson, whom he struck out in the second. Salazar has struck out 3. Dyson, Escobar, and Gordon to come up here in the 5th inning. And again showing bunt, and Avila's playing in, bare hands, and throws him out. So Avila's twice has come up on a bunt attempt to record an out. He got Bonifacio in the 3rd, and now Dyson in the 5th.
Okay, even though Avilas is in, he's still got to be perfect with his catch and throw. With that kind of speed that Dyson has.
Now, Hud, you played 3rd and had to make that play.
Yeah.
And it seems to me there are a lot of components to that play. As you said, you have to come in, you have to bend down as you're running in, and then you grab the ball and you have to deal with whatever grip you have, right? I mean, you could get a really bad grip.
Yeah, but you just have to stay conscious of catching the ball, seeing it. And then Avilas, he shuffled his feet really quick to get his momentum going towards his throw, so he had a little something on it. Sometimes you throw off your right foot, you're off balance, you got to flip it underneath. But for a fast runner, you got to have quick feet. So he caught it and shifted his feet through and all in the same motion. So it was a good play.
If you think about pitching, I mean, these guys have the best control in the world in controlling a baseball, but it all has to do with the grip. And they have the time to grip the ball exactly the way they want to make it move the way they want to have the right speed. And Escobar almost took Salazar's hat off as he lines it into center field with 1 out. So all that time to get the perfect grip that they need as a pitcher. And then you got a fielder running, bending over, and grabbing the ball with a bad grip and almost having to throw at the same control.
Yeah, it's a do or die. You don't have time to feel the grip. Find it. But a hanging slider, Escobar kept his streak alive. Nice stroke right there. Excuse me, he snapped it last night. I thought he had it going. He went 0 for 4. 10 game he had last night, but start with another one.
Alex also lost a 10-game hitting streak in this series. 0 for 2 so far tonight, but this is his 3rd at bat against Salazar, pitcher he hadn't faced before tonight. Pulls that into the Royals dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tell you what, the hitters that have a short, quick swing on Salazar are the ones that are able to barrel it and put it in play good. I mean, with some authority. And Escobar just showed that on a slider out, up. He just took it right to it. Let the power of the pitch supply the pop.
.21 pitches for Salazar in the first, and then very efficient since then. And we expect him to be on about an 85 pitch limit. He's been able to bounce back after that long first. That's when he gave up the 3 runs. And because of that pitch limit, this is just the 3rd time in his last 7 starts he has pitched into the 5th inning. So that's below quality start standards, which requires only 6. It's the 3rd time in his last 7 he's got into the 5th inning. So they're being very careful with that 23-year-old arm. Right side and through. Escobar will round second base and advance to 3rd as Alex didn't hit it hard but got it through the right side, and the Royals have runners at the corners with 1 out.
And the fact that he didn't barrel it and hit it hard was good. He was able to give Escobar some time to get into third base. More aggressive base running here. One out, a chance to get another run up there. You know, this kid Salazar, he's really got a power fastball. Did you know that he's the only pitcher this year to strike out Miguel Cabrera 3 times? And Miguel faced him the 4th time, and guess what he did?
Hit a home run?
Yes, he did. So that's enough of that.
So 3 times in one game?
One game.
And then a home run?
And then a homer.
Strike to Bonifacio, who tried to bunt in the 3rd inning. Aviles threw him out, and he's also grounded out to short.
It's pretty impressive, you know. Miguel Cabrera's a pretty good hitter. Strike him out 3 times. Your second major league start, it was.
Bonifacio, before he stepped in against Salazar here, spent some time outside the batter's box checking out the defense, coming up with a game plan based on what the defense had presented him.
And you know, that's really a smart move, Ryan, because when you can do so many things like Bonifacio can with his bat, you step outside of that box and you look around the infielders, they're looking at you. They're checking you out as a hitter, and that puts them on alert, saying, all right, this guy he's fast, he can bunt, I better be ready. Causes mistakes. Having the ability to attack on offense is a great thing.
Alex runs, and now he's going to get in a run down. Escobar.
Come on.
Boy, Alex is doing his part, and now Escobar caught in between 3rd and home. And did he get around the tag? He did! Just the way they practiced it before the game tonight.
That's just how you write it up. How about that? Alex Gordon, he took off almost like it was planned, but with 1 out, usually you do a play like that with 2 outs.
That was like a schoolyard game of pickle.
It was, and it was the finest job of staying in a rundown I've seen all year. Both guys, look at Escobar, gave him a move. I mean, there's some running backs in the NFL that would love that move. He just tricked Gomes, and his jock is hanging. Beautiful move right there. He missed him with the tag. Great call by the umpire, and they scored a run, and the crowd loves it here.
They want a curtain call from Escobar. When was the last time you saw a crowd asking for a curtain call after anything other than a home run?
It's beautiful. Ryan, there were some visitors that came up to the booth, and I told those people, we'll see something tonight we've never seen before. You watch. And sure enough, Escobar, he faked to 3rd, and he went to home and ducked, and Gomes couldn't get the tag on him. Oh, that was special.
Well, it goes down in the end as a double steal.
Okay, we're going to have to count and see how many throws it took to get Alex Gordon or attempt to get him. Because any time that you can get 3 or more, you've done a great job of staying in that rundown.
Crack bat, and Cabrera. Swisher stayed on the bag. Well, the first base umpire, Bill Welke, says that Bonifacio is out. 20,000 other umpires think that he came off the bag, including first base coach Rusty Kuntz and now manager Ned Yost.
Okay, now Cabrera, by getting that ball before it bounced the 3rd time, that's how it got it. And just barely. I think Swisher's foot was on the base. Nice call.
I'd say that's a great call, because at regular speed, I thought his foot was off the bag. And there are fans. Now, of course, their hearts are telling them that he came off the bag, but there are fans that were very close, and they were screaming right away. And it seems obvious when you're watching it in super slow motion, but at times you have to give the umpires credit when they can make a call like that at regular speed.
Got that right. Way to go, Bill.
So Alex is at third with 2 down. Eric Hosmer 2 for 2 already, so he has his 57th multi-hit game to lead the league. And now he takes high and away.
I mean, did you hear the crowd? That was beautiful, that rundown. We got to show that to you again. We got 2 outs. We might need a foul ball, though, to be able to show it to you.
Instead of fly ball, ball's been carrying out that way, and Brantley, right in front of the track, retires Hosmer. Double steal. Alex Gordon made it happen, getting into a long rundown. Alcides Escobar with a nifty move, and the Royals lead 4-2. All
right,
count the throws.
Okay, here we go. Okay, let's Struble Cabrera. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now he comes across 4, 5, and he's safe, and the crowd went crazy. Okay, 5 throws it took to get 2 guys to try to get it out, and they couldn't get it done. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, watch Gomes. He's going to take his eye off of Escobar. See, he's going to peek behind him. He's looking over at Gordon, and that's what got him in trouble. What a play. That was something we haven't seen all year. And fresh at a game like this, they've got to win it. And in front of a nice walk-up crowd here at the K.
And the fans wanted a curtain call from Escobar. That's the first time I've ever seen a rundown stolen base curtain call, and Escobar didn't give it to him because he probably didn't know what to do.
Yeah, but they were.
1-2 on Bourne, who has a sac fly, and he is grounded out on a bunt attempt. And now lines it into right field to begin the 6th inning. He has hit in 8 straight. So he's on with 22 stolen bases. Nick Swisher comes to the plate.
Hanging curve. Especially it stayed on the inside part of the plate. Nice job. Bourne's hot.
And with that, let's go to Joel.
Well, Ryan, we have all had the chance to talk to Nick Swisher over the years many times, and I think we would all agree that he has never had a bad day at the ballpark. Always a smile, always chatting everyone up. And he said you have to enjoy every single moment. That's what he tells the young guys on their team, no matter what. And he said he really feels like, having the right mix of veterans and young guys, and he believes they have it in Cleveland. He believes the addition of James Shields helps. But he said that for him and Jason Giambi, what they have brought to that clubhouse is just teaching these guys the right way to go about things, but doing it in the right way. He said the game has changed, and Jason Giambi has talked to me about this too. You can't have the salty veteran anymore that's telling guys and putting guys in their place. There's so much more money in the game now, so it's a matter of leading the right way, making it fun in the clubhouse. He says he's been in high-profile clubhouses, low-profile clubhouses, but you can say this much about Nick Swisher. If the Indians make the playoffs, it'll be the 7th time for him in the last 10 years. Jason Giambi's been there a lot. 91 playoff games between the two of them.
There's a lot to be said for that. To be a leader, Ryan, and I found this out in baseball, to be a leader, you lead with encouragement. You love. You encourage the young guys. And then, you reel them in. And that's how you gain it. And then when it comes to correcting something, they're going to listen to you because you've been loving on them. You've been encouraging them, telling them how good they are. Man, I can't wait to watch you play tonight. Little things like that. That's how you reel a guy in that's in this modern game today.
Heard a story about Swisher's leadership. The Indians were here at the end of April, and there was a rainout. So Royals and Indians played a day-night doubleheader. They split the 4 games. The Royals blew out the Indians in the first 2, and then the Indians blew out the Royals in the next 2. And the Indians, after that, went on a great run that turned their season around. Well, after the first loss of the doubleheader, the Indians clubhouse was like a library, or maybe even like a morgue, and just a deflating loss. And Nick Swisher came in and basically said, hey, it's April. And he turned the music up, cranked the music in the clubhouse, and said, hey, we got another game, and it's only April. Well, coincidence or not, that was the beginning of a great run for the Indians, a turning point where it looked like the season was going down the drain. And what pulled that season out of the drain? Was it Nick Swisher's enthusiasm? Who knows, but the Indians have been a contending team ever since.
Terry Francona, Ned Yost, those managers know the importance of veteran leadership to help police the clubhouse.
Indians went on to win 13 out of 15. Bourne runs, the pitch is up, and Perez made a good throw, but Bourne got a good jump, and he may have injured himself, Michael Bourne, grabbing his hand as he steals his 23rd.
What a takeoff, man. He got a great jump. There was no chance Salvi had to throw him out. No chance at all. Salvi, one of the best catch and throw catchers there are in baseball. Salvi's thrown out 32% of runners, 20 of 61.
Messing with his right wrist, may have landed heavy on that wrist as he went into the slide.
Might be a candidate for a sliding guard on his wrist.
Change up is high to Swisher, so he will walk. And right after the Royals got a run in the bottom of the 5th, the Indians have 2 on with nobody out.
Okay, sometimes when you slide, you put that right hand down, and it jams it. You get a sliding guard, it's got a little piece of metal in it so you can't bend your wrist next time you do that. That's going to be it for Bruce.
So he goes 5+ innings. A lefty for a lefty. Francisli Bueno coming on with left-hand hitting Jason Kipnis at the plate. Chevy called to the bullpen. Royals lead 4-2 in the 6th. and is replaced by Francisco Bueno, with the Royals leading 4-2 in the 6th inning. Well, we hope to see you tomorrow. It's our 12th Gloves for Kids. We'll be at Kansas Sampler, Oak Park Mall in Lenexa. And we have a great lineup, as we do every year. $25, a donation of $25 toward the purchase of a baseball glove or equipment. And you can take part in an autograph session, one from 5 to 6, the other from 6 to 7, as Kipnis shows bunt. That should get you home in plenty of time to watch the Chiefs tomorrow night. Lorenzo Cain, David Lowe, Danny Duffy, Jeremy Guthrie, Luis Mendoza, Chris Getz, Lewis Coleman, Johnny Giavotella, and Royals manager Ned Yost will be there, along with our own Fox Sports Kansas City's Jeff Montgomery and Rex Hudler.
Can't wait.
See you tomorrow.
Hopefully he pops up this bunt.
And Moustakas bare hands, throws, and got him. Nice play by Hosmer, reaching over Kipnis' helmet.
Boy, great bunt. Way to do the job. Moose came in. He's really good at coming in, making these plays barehanded. Throw gets up at the line just a little bit for Hosmer's comfort. However, the long arms and the reach of Hosmer is able to get it down. The fact that Kipnis ducked, that helped him. Watch Kipnis duck here. He ducked out of the way because that's a natural response from a player. It's a reaction. On a bunt like that, you know that ball is going to be coming your way, especially when you read the first baseman. Regardless, second and third, one out.
That shows you the importance of that situation. Here's your number 3 hitter with 17 home runs, 78 RBIs, 33 doubles, and he bunts. It was the 4th sacrifice bunt for Kipnis. And now Bueno gets Santana, and he chops it to third. And Moustakas, Hosmer there again for out number 2. No other advance.
How about that? Carlos Santana. He's a guy who typically takes 5 to 6 pitches in at bat. Swinging at the first pitch and tops it. Boy, that's a break. And Moose playing back like that makes another good play. Michael Bourne, that was at third base, he was trying to figure out if he should come home on that or not, but he stayed home. And that's it for Bueno.
So he faces a left-hand batter, a switch hitter hitting from the right side, and now Lewis Coleman comes on to face Ryan Rayburn with runners at second and third, 2 down. Another Chevy call to the bullpen.
Pin to win. Got him. Boy, clutch pitch. Good location. Ventura, the young rookie making his debut, needed the help. And now you turn the page to one more day. Similar situation, -1 base runner, second and third, 2 outs. Coleman to the rescue. Sinker slider.
Missed outside with the slider. Rayburn is 0 for 2. It's grounded to short and fly to center.
And Rayburn, being the victim last night on the strikeout, is going to be a little bit more leery of that slider.
That makes Rayburn 1 for 5 now against Lewis Coleman. Coleman, by the way, has allowed 1 earned run in 26 innings. 28 strikeouts, 4 walks in those 26 innings. 2-0.
Okay, look at that. He's done a great job there. But the main thing is right here. Don't give him a cookie. Try to stay down.
Two and one.
Okay, that's a good hitter's count. Rayburn looking for a fastball, and the slider was located just right.
Kane back in right field. And Coleman, for a second straight night, gets the job done against Ryan Rayburn. The Indians had runners at second and third with 1 out, and they come up empty in the 6th inning.
Excellent job.
And the fans think that the Royals need 9 more wins over their next 11, including tonight, at least 37%. A little less than that, think the Royals need 89 or more. So we thank you for voting in our Sprint Unlimited Answers poll for tonight. So our Sonic Slam inning as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And Billy Butler leads off against Danny Salazar. And Billy slams it into center. Back goes Bourne, and it's over his head and up against the wall. Royals have a runner at second base and nobody out to begin the bottom of the 6th.
That dog will hunt right there. What a line drive that was. You could hang a week's worth of Goldberg's laundry on that one. That ball, it was tattered. I mean, he's sitting dead red, right in his wheelhouse. You can't barrel a ball any better than that. And Bourne, Might as well save your energy. You ain't catching that. Oh, and that ball was smoked out there.
Sal missed a first pitch slider. He drove in 2 runs with a double in the first inning and then later scored on a wild pitch. Royals scored 3 in the first. The Indians scored 2 in the third, and then the Royals got a run in the 5th. Pulled on the ground to third, and Aviles will stare Butler back to second base before throwing out Perez.
Obviously, after you've hit a big double like Salvador Perez did in the first inning to knock in a big run on a fastball, you're not going to get him again. So he threw him 2 sliders right away, and Salvi was a little bit anxious there. I'm trying to move that runner to third base if you can. To get a pitch out over, be a little more selective, and shoot that ball to the right side, get Billy to third. However, Salvi's got a pretty good average with runners in scoring position. He took a shot.
Jason Gould is our contestant tonight in the Sonic Slam inning. Jason out of KCMO. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Jason wins $1,000. A grand slam out of the park is worth $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. In the dirt, skips away from Gomes, and Billy goes to third with 1 out.
Yeah, so there you go. Salvi got him over. A little bit late, but it worked. Got a little help. It's 2 now we've seen. Tough chance. Gomes did all he could to try to keep it in front of him. But the spin on the baseball like that and where it bounces, sometimes you just never can tell.
That is out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moustakas is 0 for 2 so far against Salazar. Been some sloppy moments tonight for the Indians on defense. Wild pitch, scored a run in the first inning. A failed rundown in the 5th resulted in a run. And now wild pitch here gets Billy to third with 1 out. And even that 2-run double hit by Perez, it took the Indians a long time to get that ball in from left field. And then if Cabrera had made a good throw to the plate, probably would have gotten Billy Butler at home plate. So it's not been a sharp defensive game so far for Cleveland. And Moustakas pops it up, and Aviles will make the play for the 2nd out. So now it's up to Lorenzo Cain with a runner at third, 2 down. Lorenzo is fly to right and fly to center. This would appear to be Salazar's last hitter. Remember that pitch limit of around 85. And Gerard Dyson's on deck. And the Indians have a left-hander ready to go in their bullpen, Nick Hagedorn. Ooh. 1 ball, 1 strike. That pitch just kind of hung out over the plate.
Sure did. Nice little slider.
Fastball, fly ball, shallow center, and it'll hang up for Bourne, who runs up and makes the play. So the Royals had a runner at third with 1 out. Salazar gets out of the 6th inning. Royals lead 4-2.
was winning, was being the key word. Mike Napoli with the game-tying home run. They are all locked up at 3 in the 8th inning. And then up to Toronto. Oh, the Blue Jays were doing the Royals a favor until this. Vernon Wells, as he has the double, slides in safely. And now the Yankees are leading in the 9th inning against Toronto. All tied up, Baltimore and Boston, and still 2-2 between Texas and Tampa Bay. Ryan?
Well, you know, that feels good for Vernon Wells, doing that against his former team in Toronto.
Oh, you got to believe it.
Coleman stays on for the 7th inning tonight. He gets Cabrera, Gomes, and Brantley here in the 7th. Cabrera 0 for 2 against Bruce Chen. And now 0-2. Coleman last night got the final out of the 6th inning. And then Ned Yost went to Kelvin Herrera in the 7th. And Herrera gave up a couple of runs in the 7th inning, which allowed the Indians to tie the game. And then the Indians added a run in the 8th against Davis and in the 9th against Hochevar. So the very rare off night for the Royals bullpen. And this time around, Ned's going to stick with Coleman in the 7th.
All right. I could agree with him. Coleman's extremely effective.
And a good start to the inning as he strikes out Cabrera. 1 down. All right, we were humiliated last night with our AT&T trivia question. Let's see what Al Broughton has for us tonight. Which American League team has made the postseason winning the least amount of games? Which American League team has made the postseason winning the least amount of games? One strike on Yan Gomes. 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored back in the Indians' 2-run 3rd inning. One and one.
Coleman looks like to me he's got a couple of different speeds to his slider. Now either that or he's got a backup slider working. Backup slider is a pitch that is designed to go away, but sometimes the wind catches it and it goes the other way. Almost looks like a changeup. He's a confident individual. And when you're sporting a 0.35 ERA, you can carry yourself with confidence.
Moustakas. And throws him out. So he went for a dive. Didn't stick in his glove, but kept it out of the outfield. It makes another nice play. Made 2 good plays, helping keep the Royals, or the Indians rather, scoreless in the 6th inning.
Look at that. Just keep it in front of you. Hit off the heel of his glove, taps his glove, gets his feet lined up. Big out right there. Every out's big. Especially when you're defending and you're making nice plays, leaving your feet.
And a nice ovation for Lewis Coleman as he departs, and Tim Collins comes on. and nobody on in the 7th inning. You can keep up with the pennant races and catch the end of the regular season in stunning HD quality on MLB.tv. You can watch every out-of-market game live, as well as choice of home and away broadcasts, live game DVR functionality, and multi-game viewing options. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
Okay, let's see. Collins' curveball's working. His fastball's good. Slow to mid-90s, big curve and straight changeup. Did a nice job on Monday when he came in. Struck out the first 2 guys and then got Michael Bourne to pop it up. And you know, he was getting ahead and he was executing. His curveball looked really sharp on Monday.
Two and one.
Ryan, before I forget, I gotta make a shout out to one of your big fans. Her name's Frida Haney in Polo, Missouri. Frida, thank you for your support. We love the fact that you're watching every game, and especially Ryan Lefevre, one of your buddies. Hope we win for you, Frida.
Past Collins and into center field. So Brantley is on with 2 outs. And for Frida and others, thankfully, baseball season isn't over yet. So don't forget to pick up the latest Royals gear at Rally House. Polo, Missouri, up I-35. And now Mike Aviles, 0 for 2. Collins misses high, ball 1. Mike Aviles back in 2008 was the Royals Player of the Year. The year before that, he was the minor league Player of the Year. And then the Royals took a risk and they didn't protect him on the 40-man roster. So he was exposed to the Rule 5 draft. He was not selected, and a good thing for the Royals because they needed him in May of 08. And ended up being the Major League Player of the Year. 7th round pick out of Division II Concordia College 10 years ago. And that year he was the Division II National Player of the Year. Time had been called and Aviles jumps out of the box. Aviles that year was the Royals shortstop. He was the Player of the Year. One of the most memorable first major league hits for me, growing up in New York, Aviles did, and got his first major league hit at Old Yankee Stadium in the last year of Old Yankee Stadium. Force at second base, so Collins gets the Royals out of the top of the 7th. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals lead the Indians 4-2. Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. 4-2 Royals, with 3 of those runs coming in the first inning. So that's what's going on here at Rogers Center in Toronto. That would be Mariano Rivera striking out J.P. Arancibia. So the Yankees, with that big hit from former Blue Jay Vernon Wells late in the game, they beat Toronto 4-3. So that is not good news for the Royals. However, good news here is the Royals lead 4-2 and now facing Matt Albers after the Royals scored 4 runs in 6 innings against Danny Salazar. And Dyson hits a high hopper to first, and Swisher gets to the bag. 1 pitch, 1 out, and Dyson is 0 for 3. Let's take a look at the updated wild card standings. Yankees a half game in front of the Royals. And Cleveland, again, Terry Francona's team, they control their own destiny from this point forward. And you say, well, how is that possible? They're a half game back. They need some help, right? Well, they do, but they're going to get it no matter what, because the 2 teams in front of the Indians are playing one another. So one team will lose tonight. And Francona and the Indians know if they win, they then would have a half game lead over somebody, which means they control their own destiny for the final 10 games of the season. And as we pointed out earlier, their final 10 games will be against teams below 500, and really, to be honest with you, way below 500. Escobar caught by Cabrera, and Escobar is 1 for 3, 2 down in the 7th inning.
Albers is a guy that you can hit around if he's out over the middle. He's got a 90 to 95 mile an hour fastball and a slider.
That's great, Hud. We'll remember that next time we face him.
No, Tito's had enough of him.
So, folks, next year, when the Royals begin their first series with the Indians, just write that scouting report down. You'll be fully prepared for Matt Albers.
There you go.
Or maybe in the wild card game this year.
It's possible. Salvador Perez was able to score was huge, but then this rundown, it took 5 throws to try to get it out. Alex Gordon stayed in long enough to get Escobar up, who was able to score the run to avoid the tag from Yan Gomes. That was a very special play, and it gave him a huge run. That's where they stand now, 4-2.
All right, our Vatterett College game summary. Royals with 3 in the first. They did all that with 2 outs against Salazar. The Indians with 2 in the third. And then that double steal, which added a run in the 5th inning. Both Gordon and Escobar coming away with stolen bases on that wild play, with Escobar avoiding the tag. And here we are 4-2 with Mark Zepchinski in to face Alex Gordon. Kipnis dives, gets his glove on it, and throws it to the Royals dugout. But there will be no further advance for Alex, who has his 2nd hit. He is 2 for 4. And that would be 50 multi-hit games for Alex Gordon this year.
Yeah, and you know what? He's really digging for that bag and that hit. Head first slides to first base. Don't suggest it if you're a young player, because you can really hurt yourself, run through the base. But when you're at this level, getting paid the big bucks, and you smell a hit and you're trying to help your team win, sometimes it just happens and you dive into the base. However, you got to keep your palms up when you touch the base, or you'll break your fingers.
Bonifacio, and that's off of Avila's glove, and that's big because the inning continues, and that means Hosmer comes up with 2 on and 2 out.
Okay, Zepchinski with his sinker-slider combination, big curveball at times, trying to sneak one by Bonifacio and miss him. He was ready for it. He pounded it off. A tough chance there for Avilas. That ball was hit hard. Short hopped it. Couldn't glove it.
Two for 3, a double, a single, and a run scored for Eric Hosmer. Zepchinski faced Hosmer last night and struck him out.
And he swung in a couple of bad balls, if I remember, in the dirt. But Hosmer, we're not used to seeing that. He's a .322 hitter against lefties.
One ball, one strike. Hosmer now 0 for 3 against Zepchinski. He has walked a couple of times. There's the breakdown for you. And remember, this is a hitter in his first 2 years who hit about .230 against left-hand pitching.
Obviously, he's made the adjustments.
Fouled away, 1 and 2.
He was a tad behind that one. Little insurance is always good late in the game.
That's a pitch that Zepchinski got Hosmer to chase last night. Not this time around. 2 and 2.
Yeah, Eric's really been able to keep his front shoulder in, and also that front foot we talk about. It's coming down and holding his weight back.
Eric has driven in 11 this year against the Indians. Three and 2. And we'll do it again. The only team Hosmer has more RBIs against would be Minnesota. He has 13. 11 against Detroit and 11 against the Indians. Trying to add to that right here.
In a well-placed ball on a 3-2 count and 2 outs, the runners are moving, could score Bonifacio from first. I guarantee you, Jan Gomes is telling him, look, whatever we want to throw here, just make sure you keep it down. And he hits it on the ground, and don't let this guy get one airborne. Hosmer averages over 400 feet for his home runs this year.
Got him. Pitch down and away, so Zepchinski gets Hosmer for his second straight night, and the Royals strand 2 in the 7th inning. So we go to the 8th. Will Smith will take over with the Royals in front, 4-2. Every player has a turning point in his career, and September the 2nd may have been the turning point for Will Smith. Labor Day here at Kauffman Stadium, and that's a good way to describe Mariners hitters against him on that Monday afternoon. 8 strikeouts for Will Smith in 4 1/3 innings, and only gave up 1 hit. And just 46 pitches in that 4 1/3 innings. And now he comes on in the 8th with some left-hand batters coming up. Royals lead 4-2. Smith is the 5th Royals pitcher tonight. Michael Bourne, switch hitter Nick Swisher after him, and then left-hand hitting Jason Kipnis fouled into the netting by Bourne.
Will Smith has given up just a 140 average to lefties. A couple home runs. Bourne had a good night last night. Will Smith has a good slider. He's got a couple of different speeds to it. One's a little bit of a tight slider. The other one almost looks like a big curveball. And he's got a changeup that he'll use occasionally to righties. But he's had really good control with his breaking stuff.
Pulls it on the ground to Hosmer. He will take it himself. And a good start to the 8th inning. Michael Bourne is 1 for 3. The Royals have some decisions as they look forward to next year with guys like Luke Hochevar, Will Smith, Wade Davis. Do they stay where they're thriving right now in the bullpen, or do those guys get another shot in the starting rotation?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting offseason. There's no doubt about it. But the one thing that is a fact is that this is a very talented organization at the top level, but also in the minor league system.
So Swisher will bat right-handed, and he takes ball 1. He's been on tonight with a single and a walk. He has hit in 8 straight games.
And you know, those would be pleasant decisions and easier decisions when you have talent that you're looking at like that. They'll find a place for him. They'll slot him in the right spots. Dayton Moore does a pretty good job. He's had a nice game plan in his time here to try to build a winner here in this marketplace. And he said that We got to change the environment from losing to winning. And look at this. Here we are, September 18th, and there's over 20,000 here at the gate. And they're intense and they're passionate.
21,198 to be exact. Royals presented a special in conjunction with our radio partner 610 Sports for some discounted tickets, and those sold out tonight.
Beautiful. Thank you, folks.
Still 1-2 on Swisher. Bruce Chen went 5. Faced 2 batters in the 6th and departed. He gave up the 2 runs. Bueno got 2 outs in the 6th. Coleman pitched an inning. Final out of the 6th and the first 2 outs of the 7th. Collins the final out of the 7th, and now Smith in the 8th. Hit hard to left field. Alex is back, and he is there for the 2nd out.
Okay, not quite to the degree of difficulty as last night's play that went over his shoulder that he himself said, I should have made the play. That one was a little bit easier. Last night's ball was quite difficult for him, but I like the fact that this guy manned up and said, you know what, I should have made that play. It went off my glove. Bottom line.
Well, there's Greg Holland. Normally in a save situation, Greg Holland, if we're home, would start warming up in the bottom of the 8th inning. But any sign of trouble here in the top of the 8th, and Ned Yost will use him for more than 3 outs. So he's getting ready to go. He is prepared, if called upon, to come on in this inning. 0-2 on Kipnis, who is 0 for 2 with a sac bunt tonight, and 0 for 10 in the series. This is one of the Indians' best hitters. 1-2.
I think it's that they pitched him really well. I mean, they're not giving him any cookies out over the middle. He typically is patient, but he's been a little aggressive too. He's been swinging early in counts, but they got to give some credit to the pitching staff and Dave Island for the scouting on this guy here and not letting him beat you.
Strike 3 called. So Kipnis is still hitless in the series. Will Smith has another good inning, and it's been a bounce back night for the Royals bullpen as they have been scoreless over the last 3 innings. Sports and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW And Royals baseball is brought to you by Ram Trucks. Four-2 Royals, bottom of the 8th inning. And a must-win. 3 of those runs coming with 2 outs in the very first inning. And now CC Lee takes the mound. Not to be confused with CC Sabathia or Cliff Lee.
Yeah.
Both won Cy Youngs with the Indians. This would be CC Lee.
It'd be nice if he had a little combination of both of those guys. But he does pretty good for himself. See that? He's kind of three-quarter. He whips that ball in there. He's got a really nice fastball slider combination. He kind of sinks the fastball.
Out of Taiwan. One and 2 on Billy. Scored a run back in that 3-run first inning after he walked. And then he doubled leading off the 6th. Royals weren't able to get him home that inning. Still 1 and 2. Deep short, and Cabrera, no play. Just another infield hit for Billy Butler.
That's right, he'll take it, and then he'll pass the baton off to Chris Getz, who popped out of that dugout right away. He's got to wait till Billy touches first, though, gets back on first base, but Getz couldn't wait to get out there.
And Salvador Perez at the plate. And as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
All right, Salvador Perez, he can't wait to be the bus driver. He loves that license, and he pulls it out every so often, like he did early in that first inning. He hit that big double, helped the Royals, and his teammates scored 3 runs that were huge in the first.
And Lee is in with a strike. Tough angle for a right-hand batter.
It's funky. That's right down the middle. Chris Getz, he can steal your bag. He's 15 for 18.
Not running. And a little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, Yan Gomes, his percentage was over 42% of throwing runners out when this series started. But you're facing the best base stealing team in the American League, and now his percentage is under 40. It's 39% of throwing runners out.
And a slider's in there, 1 and 2. Jumping back, and it's down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals scored 3 in the first off of Danny Salazar. Indians scored 2 in the third against Bruce Chen. Royals got a run on a funky double steal in the 5th inning. Take a 4-2 lead, and that's where we stand now in the bottom of the 8th.
That's a good word for it, partner.
Yeah.
That was funky.
That was a Tone Loc song, by the way. Funky cold double steal.
And it worked. You know, I was quick to credit Kelvin Escobar's fancy move to get away from the tag from Yan Gomes. But then as we saw it again, Gomes took his eye off of the runner and he looked over at Gordon quickly. And that's when he made his move, when he got underneath the tag. Little things in baseball, you just never know. It's an amazing game now. Escobar, he's sharing that with the young rookie, Ventura.
Getz runs, and Perez hits it into right field. Rayburn coming up and dropped it. And now he'll throw to second base, and Getz is safe. He never looked comfortable on that fly ball.
And he's hadn't looked comfortable all night out there. He almost dropped the ball early off of Billy Butler's bat that would have scored a run. But that right there, he ran a long way for it. But sometimes your head's bouncing and moving. But if you don't catch it in the big part of your glove, you can do that. Look at that. Clank. Missed it. He thought he had it the whole way. And clank is a term that's used by ball players when a guy hits his glove and falls out. Just a term.
Instead of falling into a nice soft leather glove, it's like he's carrying a skillet out there, right?
Right, clank. Right. It makes a hard sound. Now they'll take that break.
Nick Hagedorn, a lefty, will face Mike Moustakas. The Royals have 2 on, nobody out, and lead by 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Two on, nobody out. Our AT&T trivia question. I smell a rat. Now, is this a full season or a strike-shortened season?
No, this has got to be a strike-shortened season.
Full season.
Oh, come on.
All right. How about the 1987 Minnesota Twins?
I was going to say the 81 Royals in 150 games with a losing record. 84 Royals.
84 Royals. Minnesota won 85. I think the Minnesota note is that that's the fewest wins to win a World Series. Tigers went on to win the World Series over the Padres in 84.
Right on. Well, Al, that was pretty good. That's even better.
Moustakas drops down a bunt. He's not asked to do that very often, but he gets the job done. Runners at second and third and 1 out.
That was a beautiful job right there, Moose. He gave himself up in plenty of time. He squared around. He didn't try to pull, I'm going to try a bunt base hit. Look at this. Squares around, keeps the barrel above the hands. That was nice. He did that like Gerard Dyson would. It's a way to move him over for the team. Hagedorn. Fastball slider combination. Pretty good breaking ball. It's a big one. He's got a nice fastball too. ERA's a little bit up there.
That was the first sack bunt for Moustakas in 2 years.
And it was a beauty.
And it was, as you said, a true sacrifice. There was no, oh, hey, if I start running, maybe I can get a hit too. I mean, he just gave himself up to get the bunt down. And now they'll walk Kane to set up a lefty-lefty with Hagedorn and Dyson. So that puts Kane on for the first time, and now in this inning, the Indians have given the Royals 2 runners with the error by Rayburn and Wright, and now the intentional walk. And it'll be Gerard Dyson.
Gerard Dyson is hitting .204 against lefties. Gonna leave him in. There are some options on that bench, but he's got a 2-run lead. You got Maxwell sitting over there as an outfielder who could pinch hit from the right side here. But Ned's electing to stay with Dyson.
And that was not a suicide squeeze, as Getz was not coming down from third. And the infield is already in. So that's a tough play unless you're going with a suicide squeeze.
Yeah,
you have to really deaden the ball on a bunt.
Yeah, you know, that play right there, you know, at this time in the game, you need to just do all you can to try to knock some runs in. That's just my opinion. A bunt right there, the best thing that can happen is if somebody misses that and they do score a run, but most of the time they're going to get a force out somewhere on a bunt like that. But it's over now. We'll see if we can try to hit one through the middle. That's the biggest hole out there.
And now 0-2 on Dyson.
You don't see too many guys bunt with the bases loaded with less than 2 outs.
Well, and especially, you know, as I said there, I mean, when you're doing it with the safety squeeze, then you just throw home and you get a force out. Right. I mean, suicide squeeze maybe.
Right.
Because that's the bunt's down. That's a very tough play at home plate. Blocked by Gomes to make it 1 ball, 2 strikes. Getz is running for Butler, who reached with an infield single. Perez at second reached when Rayburn dropped a fly ball in right. Moustakas bunted those 2 up, and then Kane was intentionally walked. Fouled away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice crowd tonight again. Folks know good baseball when they see it. And it's been rare here in September from what I understand. But the players, believe me, love the energy that they get from the people here at the K. Passionate fans.
Started to go, and no swing. 2-2. Dyson has faced Hagedorn twice before tonight, and he has struck out and he has walked. Royals have a 2-run lead, which typically is a big lead for them with the bullpen. There have been some squandered opportunities tonight. Royals don't want to let this one slip away. And now 3-2. So Dyson hanging in there after falling behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Royals had a leadoff double in the 6th. They did not turn that into a run. 2 hits in the 7th. That did not turn into a run, and now the base is loaded, 1 out in the 8th. Did he go? No swing. Great plate appearance as Dyson was down 0-2 and he walks. And the Royals lead 5-2 in the 8th inning.
Oh, yeah. Talk about passion and energy. Here they come. The fans are loving that. Another good insurance run for Holland.
So another pitching change as Escobar's coming up. And Carlos Carrasco is out of the Indians bullpen. He is the 6th Indians pitcher tonight. They have the bases loaded with 1 out. So it's late for those guys on a school night. They want to see how this one finishes. And Alcides Escobar has a chance to make this a non-save situation for Greg Holland, who's been warming up since the top of the 8th. Carlos Carrasco, and he inherits 3 runners with 1 out, and will pitch to Escobar.
Fastball, mid to 90s. Ooh. He's got a slider, curve, and a change. He's got all 4 of them, but probably will just stay with his fastball slider here out of the bullpen. Got a really good changeup, though, he'll use. One out, an opportunity to get just another run, and they need it.
One and one.
Middle infielders are halfway. That means that they're going to take a chance on hopefully turning a double play. They're hoping on a ball that's hit hard. If the ball is not hit hard, they're going to come get it and try to get the force at home.
Inside. 2-1 on Escobar. Singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the 5th inning. That was a wild play on what was ruled a double steal, but a couple of failed rundowns by the Indians, and Escobar got around a tag attempt by the catcher Gomes in between 3rd and home and scored. That'll be out of play.
Okay, that's the right approach there. In that 5th inning you talked about, the single that Escobar got was off of the flamethrower Danny Salazar, their young starting pitcher tonight. And he did it on a fastball out over, or a slider that was up, and Escobar just went right to the ball with a short, quick swing. He wants to try to do the same thing here. Had his hitting streak stop at 10 last night, but he's jumping right back on the next day.
Still 2-2. Checking the wild card scoreboard, we know that the Yankees have defeated Toronto. That was bad news for the Royals. Baltimore and Boston are tied in extra innings, and Texas has just taken the lead in extra innings at Tampa Bay. And a wild play to give the Rangers the lead. And another foul ball. And now the Rangers are 1 out away from taking that game in St. Petersburg. Elvis Andrus, and when we have a moment, we'll show you the replay. Elvis Andrus scoring from first base on a single to Will Myers in right field.
Yeah, and the single was not crisp. It was kind of a lob shot off of Beltre's bat. We'll have to show it to you. Right now, Eski's concentrating, trying to find him a hole.
Three and two. Base hit into left field. Perez scores. Kane is around third, and he will score. "7-2 Royals in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Salvador Perez handing the keys to the bus over to Escobar. Nice piece of hit. Got him a pitch elevated, 3-2 count. He knew what was coming. He had to throw him a strike, and it was well placed. And some more passion in postseason atmosphere here in September at the K.
And now the Indians are going to walk Alex Gordon and load the bases up again, setting up Carrasco and Bonifacio unless Terry Francona goes to the bullpen again.
Well, he wore a path out to that mound from the dugout last night, bringing pitchers in left and right, and most managers do this time of year. They can all the arms they want out there in the pit.
Clay Rapata is the left-hander out of the bullpen. And Bonifacio has a higher average as a left-hand batter, so the Indians might want him to bat right-handed, which would mean Rapata would come in. Now Bonifacio has been announced into the game.
And I'm seeing no movement at all from Francona.
And it's going to be Carrasco and Bonifacio.
At this point right here, Francona's just saying, hey, look, I'm going to just leave him in here and see if we can somehow get it out, keep these guys from scoring again.
Oh, 0-1. Well, here's that play we were talking about in St. Petersburg. Runner at first base, Adrian Beltre singles into right center field, and Will Myers, playing it very casually, just kind of flips it towards second base. Andrus keeps running.
Oh, man, that was a special play. That was a hit and run. Andrus was running on the pitch, but the ball wasn't hit hard, so he just kept coming. That's special right there when you have that kind of speed, playing in meaningful games like that and never stopping. And that third base coach, Dave Anderson, or no, I guess it's Pettis now. Gary Pettis is the third base coach. He just kept him going. We'll see them this weekend.
Mike Aviles in foul ground. And that is out number 2. And now Eric Hosmer coming up. And this time Terry Francona will make the move. Bring on Clay Rapata with his team down by 5 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah, he's a little bit more concerned with Hosmer, I think, than he was with Bonifacio. Although Bonifacio, he tried to get one in.
9th man to come up, Eric Hosmer, in a 3-run 8th inning. Dyson, a bases loaded walk. Escobar, a 2-run single. And now the 9th man to come up, Eric Hosmer, to face the 4th pitcher in the inning, Clay Rapata. C.C. Lee started the inning, then Hagedorn, Carrasco, and now Rapata. And Hosmer chops it to the right side. Swisher to Rapata, and that will end the inning. 9 come to the plate. Walks were a big factor in the inning, and then the air in right field. And Greg Holland, in a non-save situation, comes on with a 5-run lead.
Give him a little work. Now it's a non-save situation, but with tomorrow off and the fact that he hasn't pitched since September 14th, hey, why not get him in there? Let's see the dragster go like he can go. I mean, he goes pedal to the metal, and it's mid to upper 90s. We've even seen triple digits from his fastball. Split finger, slider combination. Give him a little bit of tune-up work here. Then he can go enjoy his off day. But you got to get 3 more outs. Numbers, excuse me, Ryan, the numbers are unbelievable. Incredible.
And outside, I guess, ball 1 on Santana, followed by Ryan Rayburn and Asdrubal Cabrera. So a good bounce back night for the bullpen. They gave up 4 runs last night, no runs tonight, and they took over in the 6th.
Tell you once again, the early runs helped. Last night they didn't help. They got 3 runs early for the kid Ventura, and they didn't hold it up. But tonight it did, and that really helped Bruce. Bruce settled in. They got a couple of runs off him in the 3rd inning. But Bruce, he set the tone, and then the bullpen took over and did their typical thing that their fans are used to here.
Two and 1. Royals are off tomorrow. Cleveland will fly to Houston tonight and begin a series there tomorrow. Houston, Chicago, and Minnesota are the 3 remaining teams for Cleveland. Well, the Royals have Texas, Seattle, and Chicago. Take that back. Cleveland goes home, and they play Houston there, not in Houston. And then Chicago at home, and then they finish on the road at Minnesota. Grounded to Hosmer, and he'll take it himself. 1 down in the 9th.
I'll tell you, Greg Holland, he's held the opponents to 2 runs over his last 31 innings. Got a 0.58 ERA since July 3rd. Second lowest in Major League Baseball.
Texas was 1 out away from winning that game, and Joe Nathan blows a save. So now it's 3-3 in extra innings in St. Petersburg.
Oh, man.
Kane back in right field. The ball carries on him, and it takes him to the warning track and then into the fence for out number 2. So here you go, 3-2 Texas. And look who's at the plate. David DeJesus, the former Royal. Down to their last strike, and David DeJesus. And think of how many times as a Royal that they were frustrated against Joe Nathan when he was pitching for the Twins. And David DeJesus, as a Tampa Bay Ray, facing Nathan as a Ranger, comes through in extra innings. In the bottom of the 11th inning, David DeJesus has never played in the postseason. Right center field. Kane wants it. Kane has it. The Royals take the series from Cleveland.
Tonight, the over 20,000 fans here at the K are leaving happy, and they should. What a nice display of offense by the Kansas City Royals. Salvador Perez, he was a beast, especially in that first inning, knocking in them runs. Escobar looked good, getting a couple of hits. Gordon with a couple. Nice to see him. And the bullpen coming through again like they can.
The Royals didn't just win. They didn't just score more runs. They clearly played better than Cleveland. They were into the finer details of the game tonight, if you will, and that leads us to our fourth play of the game. That was really highlighted in the 5th inning when the Indians did not execute and the Royals did.
This run down here was something here. Gordon stops. We haven't seen that now. It's almost looked like it was planned, and it could have been. We'll find out later. 2, 3 throws. Now look at Escobar down here at third base. They caught him off, so now he gets in a rundown. But Young Gomes took his eye off of Escobar for a split second. He tricked him with a nice move, got underneath the tag, and scored the 4th run. That was huge, and it turned this crowd on. It was electric after that. Beautiful, exciting play, and that's what your Royals bring you every night they come to play.
But the guy who really showed off his speed tonight was Billy Butler, who scored from first inning on a base hit from Salvador Perez in a 3-run first, and he's down on the field with Joel Goldberg.
All right, Ryan, thank you. And so many members of the Royals tonight with multi-hit games and getting it done. But before we talk about the importance of this win, how about playing in front of a very loud crowd of 21,000 plus in the middle of September?
You guys are great. This is awesome. This is, it's an electric feel, and, you guys are doing a great job for us, and it gives us a lot of confidence. Guys like you and Alex Gordon have been waiting your whole career to play in meaningful baseball games. So what's it like? It's great. I mean, it's fun, and we couldn't be happier for the fans, for the organization, and we're just going out there pouring our heart out every night. All right, how important was this game tonight? I know the cliche in the line, one game at a time, every game is important. But after losing last night, how much was on the line for you? Well, last night hurt. We felt like we had them and let it slip, and I think our first inning come out and made a statement, and that's how you got to do it. And we just put pressure on them all night, and that's the way we play, taking the extra base and just never quitting. Well, you guys were pressing all night long, and you forced them into some mistakes. So let's go back to the first inning there against the rookie. You've never seen him before, and you score first to home. Tell us about it. Well, everybody knows I'm not the fleetest of foot, so I was just trying to dig, and I just made something happen. And finally, the effort of Chen and also your bullpen on a bounce-back night. The bullpen's been great all year. Yesterday, was that hasn't happened all year basically, and good to get him back out there tonight and close one out and get us back on the right track.
Enjoy the off day. We'll see you Friday.
Absolutely. We'll see you on Friday, guys.
Billy Butler, one of many offensive stars tonight, and the crowd absolutely loving it. Hope you'll stay with us on Boulevard Royals Live. Jeff Montgomery joins me up at Rivals. We'll break down that pitching performance in the bullpen tonight and take a look at the Royals scoring some runs in a very interesting way today, including that unique rundown/double steal. We'll hear from the players, Ned Yost, and much more coming up, guys, on Boulevard Royals Live.
All right, thank you, Joel. And here's Billy Speed back in the first.
He is fleet of foot. What do you mean he's not? Look at that. Get that run home, Billy.
Run, Billy, run.
Beautiful.